So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 64554637728, and it's Godfrey. Godfrey was on TigerBelly. Interesting episode. He can do some good impressions, definitely. But, I guess Godfrey was saying that that Bobby Lee liked to give him hugs with his pants off. And he was saying that, he could see Bobby Lee's pubes, not at present in the podcast, but on occasion, he could see, you know, Bobby Lee's pubes, and Bobby Lee wanted to hug him. And I think, they went back and forth in that. Bobby Lee pretended to kiss him and stuff. And, we know that Bobby Lee, if you've listened to Tiger Belly for any period of time, has had experiences with people of the same sex, sexual experiences. He has performed fellatio on other people, um, consensually, one would say, when he was drunk. Maybe he was 5 times in his life. Um, I guess this was a revelation. It wasn't a revelation. It was just people were saying that he had done it so many times, and he said, "This is the number of times that I've done it." And he explained, um, and I guess yeah, it wasn't like 20 different people, but yeah, and I guess it was him saying, "I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I just did it these times." But here he was, trying to get on Godfrey's nerves by pretending as if he liked Godfrey. Both of them knew that he was just joking, but and then he asked Godfrey. I apologize if I'm getting this guy's name wrong. Does great impressions, I think. Um, he asked him if they were in a TV show as a couple or something, or doing a sex scene, if he would do it. And he's like, never. I would never do that. And he's saying, well, this is where I have to disagree with Godfrey for a second. He's saying that he's not homophobic. There are women who would not appreciate, let's say, Bobby Lee trying to hug them with his pants off or down. And likewise, he is like that. He does not want that. And, we got into the mind of Bobby Lee for a second there because he is asking, he asked Godfrey, hey, so what if you woke up in the middle of the night and somebody had their penis on your head? And he's like, I'd probably want to punch him. I'd probably try to punch him. And then Bobby Lee's like, well, that happened to me. Paulie Shore, who was, the main act, and he was Paulie Shore's, I guess, frontman. He would go on before Paulie Shore, and Paulie Shore is the main act. And he's like, yeah, I woke up one day and Paulie Shore had his penis on my head. And I guess Paulie Shore has to know who to do that with because that kind of counts as sexual assault. And Bobby Lee is not taking it like that. Maybe they really had a good, close relationship, but i- if you've never, done that before, and you're not joking with somebody, that kind of counts as sexual assault. Um, anyway, Bobby Lee woke up with Pauly Shore's penis on his head, on his forehead, and Kalila was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah," but then I just rolled over and went back to sleep. And he asks Godfrey, "So what would you do?" And it's like, "I would want to punch him, somebody." And it's like, "Yeah, but you're headlining," meaning his name is up in lights at, wherever Pauly Shore is performing. And this kind of goes back to what Godfrey was saying previously. And I don't know that it always is the case necessarily, but he thinks that he has not. I guess Bobby Lee asked him, "Do you think that you're not as well known, or you haven't reached as far as you should have reached? And he's like, yeah. And he asked him why, and he said, because I'm not willing to do what other people might be willing to do. And it was later on in the show, but clearly, um, rolling over and going back to sleep when you wake up to a penis on your forehead, um, that is something that Bobby Lee was okay with dealing with. Whereas Godfrey, if those occasions had come up, he would have wanted to knock out Paulie Shore. And that might be the reason why he has not advanced. He mentioned a number of different instances where it really looked like things were, you know, going to happen with him, and then nobody ever got back to him. So, yeah, it is completely possible that he might be a lot further on in life if um, he was willing to just let other people do what they wanted to do a bit more, perhaps. Now, wow, wow, and wow is this crazy story that Bobby Lee told about Ari. I'm assuming, Ari is a popular name among the particular group. I don't know if it's Jewish people or maybe Palestinian people. Um, but I know this Ari who accused uh, Carlos Mencia of stealing his joke. I know that Ari. I don't know him well. I just know that that person exists and told a joke similar to what Carlos Mencia uh, told. And oh my God, Bobby Lee says that he has this problem where people ask him to come on the show and he may never get back to them. And they get really upset with him. And he was, this was a side note. He was talking about one individual who would have seen him getting into it with a number of different people on different occasions in the parking lot of whichever comedy club he might have been in. And he was explaining that he had gotten beaten up in the parking lot of, I guess I don't know which comedy club this is, but he'd gotten beaten up there. And this individual would have, gone sideways on tiptoes to see, is that Bobby Lee getting into it with somebody in the parking lot? Now, what I'm laughing at and what I said wow, wow, wow about is apparently Ari, whoever Ari is, would have put feces in the door handle of Bobby Lee's car because he was upset with Bobby Lee for not getting back to him, I guess, about being on the podcast. And so Bobby Lee, when he tries to open the door, he gets feces on his hands. And when he's in the car, he has feces on his hands in the car. Now, I don't know at what point he or why he actually tried to put on the windshield wipers, but he did. And apparently Ari had put two mofungos, like big lumps, I suppose, in the wiper system that made big streaks of feces streak across Bobby Lee's windshield when he put on the windshield wipers, which was just crazy. Um, anyway, aside from that, which I found to be insane, but still in keeping with Bobby Lee because Bobby Lee has pooped in cars, because he couldn't hold it in the back seat of his car, in other parts of his car, I think. Um, so yeah, this is not completely something that he's not at all familiar with, and he gets naked and all this other stuff. Um, but they role played in order to figure out how to honestly deal with people when it comes to their request to be on a podcast. And it comes down to you're not big enough, Bobby Lee was saying in the role playing. I'm sorry, but you're not big enough, and I'm paraphrasing now, to be on the podcast. And I was like, wow, okay. It's true because you don't want to have a podcast. And this is an idea that I had that fame is contagious. And maybe being, having your fame, you can lose it by having a bunch of people that nobody knows on your podcast. But if you keep having people who are famous, then your fame rubs off on them and their fame rubs off on you, and everybody's becomes more famous from all these famous interactions. Like, um, what is it, Ben Flo or J Lick? J Ben? Ben Affleck and J Lo, increased their fame by coming together. Or Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, being whatever couples. So yeah, I guess it's conceivable and it's unfortunate that people may not know that they can't go on a particular show. But it's not even really about that. You just try, and who knows? If somebody's Joe Rogan has complete people who are not well known at all on his show sometimes because, well, I don't know if that's the case, but people that he's read about and he finds interesting, that's who he will have on the show. And I think some of those people may not be extremely well known. They may have their uh, fame or notoriety or whatever it is, but Joe Rogan is another level and he puts them up on another level as well. So, anyway, um, that kind of just blew my mind with Godfrey and the poop and the penis on his forehead and oh, but you're headlining. Uh, that was just a crazy episode. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening to my opinion on that show. Have a good one. Peace.